An election day, September 3, call the election so that Mark Golding can become Prime Minister. Make welcome the next Prime Minister of Jamaica, Mark Jefferson.
Yeah, man. Comrade Chairman of the meeting, Comrade General Secretary, Comrade Officers, candidates, all of the wonderful warriors and foot soldiers, supporters of the People's National Party who are here in Port Antonio tonight. When I look out and I see the sea of orange to my right, to my left, in front of me going way over there, so I can only say PNP River, come down, bank to bank, in this beautiful parish of Portland tonight. Comrades, I want to pay a special regard and big up to our two candidates in the parish of Portland. In Western Portland, you have a true warrior for the people, a person who has experience in politics, a person who has gone into a constituency that some people think belongs to them. But she is undaunted by the naysayers. She has done the work. She has organized the PNP on the ground. And I am looking forward to a historic victory when Doreen Campbell unseats Darrell Vaz and returns West Portland to the column of the People's National Party. In East Portland, you have a general, a man who has made his mark advocating and litigating for the people of this country who are under pressure of oppression. He is a man who has gone to the highest court of the land and conducted his case with distinction, leading to the most historic criminal appeal, which was resulting in ultimately the acquittal of Jamaica's top dancehall artist. And this man was the man behind that famous victory. And before he became a candidate, whenever we had a burning issue where we needed to protect the rights of the people, whether it was in Clifton, when the Prime Minister ordered the destruction of the people's houses, or whether it was up in Fairy Hill, Pleasant Hill, in Low Idasville, when 60-something families who had been settled on land in the early 1970s by Michael Manley, who had made an arrangement with the Worthy Park Estates that had owned that land. And these are people who built their homes and they've lived there for well over 40 years. And the Prime Minister's ministry sends eviction notices to them, telling them they must not reap any crops that are on their land and they must get off of the land within 90 days. Again, we had to take them to court, ISAT, and they had to back off, and the people are there and they're going to get their titles because I'm going to ensure of that. Isaac Buchanan is a man who defends people whose rights are being trampled. And he has come into politics to serve in other capacities. And he has a deep vision of progress to uplift the people of East Portland. And I say, hail the man. And I ask all of you to ensure that Doreen and Isaac are with me in Garden House come election day. When the votes are counted, East and West will be returned. The Jamaica Stock Exchange, and I became financially secure. And I said I should try to serve the people of this country to the best of my ability. And here I find myself standing on the shoulders of Norman Washington Manley, the Right Excellent, Michael Joshua Manley, Percival James P.J. Patterson, and Portia Lucretia Simpson Miller, champions of the people, champions of development, champions of upliftment. My vision for Jamaica is to fix the system. The system that has hundreds of thousands of Jamaicans living on land without a title for the land. The system calls them squatters. The system does nothing to help them. The law that makes them squatters was passed by the colonial masters. We are going to change that law. The 60 years that is required before you acquire a title, if you've been living on government land, we're going to change that law and reduce it to 25 years to empower and legitimize the tenure and ownership of hundreds of thousands of Jamaican people, and we will ensure they get their title. And for those who are well established on the land and have invested and built their homes, but don't reach 25 years yet, don't worry. If you want to acquire the land, we'll negotiate a good price for you, a reasonable price and payment terms you can afford so you can acquire ownership. We want to build an ownership society. Our vision is a society where all Jamaicans feel part of it, first-class citizens with a stake and with opportunities for advancement. That is why, when it comes to education, we have the First in Family Scholarship Program. We know that there are so many children who do what they're supposed to do, study hard at school, keep out and away from bad company, make their parents proud, get a whole heap of subjects, qualify for university, and when it comes to the financial part of it, they can't cross it. And they end up working in a wholesale or doing some other job that is below the level that they could have had they had the opportunities they should have had. We know that education is the antidote to poverty. So we say if you are the first person in your family to have qualified for university or college, the next PNP government will give you a full scholarship so that you can attend that university or college and you can become a degree holder, somebody who is ready to enter the world of work as a fully qualified individual and therefore has opportunities open to you that you wouldn't otherwise have. The PNP is going to give you that benefit. And we're not just doing it for you, we're doing it for your families, because we expect that when you step up to that level, you will ensure that your brothers and sisters come through the same gate too. We want to end intergenerational poverty in this country, and we know education is the key. We know that many children are not attending school 5 days a week. Absenteeism is a big problem. And we know that over 30%, 3 out of 10 of the primary school children leave primary school and go to secondary school and they can't read and write. They can't do basic arithmetic. The country can't develop like that. Those children are not getting what the system should give them. So we want to fix the absenteeism problem. We're going to spend an additional $9 billion under the EASE program to ensure that every needy child can go to school and get a hot, nutritious meal every day at school, primary and secondary school. And that $9 billion will be spent with local farmers, building the agriculture industry, solving 2 problems at the same time, absenteeism and investment in agriculture. That's why we have the RIDE program, because we recognize that another reason for absenteeism is that the bus fare and taxi fare, especially in rural Jamaica, is expensive for many parents and they can't manage it 5 days a week. We're going to send out the social workers and guidance counselors to check into why the children are not attending school. And if the cost of transportation is the reason why, we under the RIDE program will provide a subsidy of $10,000 a month to those families per child so that they can cover the cost of transportation for those children. And we will ensure that the persons providing the transportation who benefit from that are well behaved and have been checked out properly so that their children are safe to ride with them. Comrades, when it comes to housing, so many people in Jamaica would love to own their own home. But it's a dream that is not being met with the system that we have now. Michael Manley established a housing trust as a vehicle of social engineering to give Jamaicans who previously would never have had a chance to buy a house, that they would contribute to the fund, and the trust would allow them to acquire a house. This government, even after the IMF agreements were fully completed, has continued to take $11.4 billion a year out of the National Housing Trust for every year since they've been in office since 2016. It has depleted the capital of the National Housing Trust to the point where they have to be outsourcing lending to private lenders and paying an interest rate subsidy, which is further depleting their resources. The People's National Party will end that extraction of resources from the National Housing Trust. So the National Housing Trust is financially capable of fulfilling the mandate, the original mandate of Michael Joshua Manley. We will use the National Housing Trust and other state agencies in housing to build 10,000 houses, affordable houses per year for the next 5 years. Those houses will be built on public land that is not suitable for agriculture. And we are going to make those houses available for sale to people at an affordable price, because we're not going to charge any money to them for the value of the land in the house. So when they buy the house, they get the house plus the land, but they only pay for the house. And so they will immediately have equity in that purchase, and they'll be wealthier than they were the day before they made the purchase. And for young people up to 45, if you can't afford a deposit and you've been contributing to the National Housing Trust for at least 2 years, we will establish a young person deposit fund within the National Housing Trust. And you will be able to get a grant, money you don't have to repay, $500,000 to cover the deposit on your first purchase of a house, to help you along the way to become an owner of the house. And we have the rent-to-own scheme, because we recognize many Jamaicans don't have a formal pay slip to prove their income to qualify for a mortgage. Because there could be a farmer, there could be a taxi driver or a taxi owner, there could be a hairdresser or a small shop operator. We will say you can go into one of those houses we're going to build, and you can go in as a tenant. And if you can make the rental payments for 6 months, which will be set at the level of a mortgage, we will treat those consistent payments as proof that you can service the mortgage. We will qualify you for the mortgage. You can draw down on a loan, acquire title to the house, and move from being a tenant to an owner and step up in life. That is the PNP in action. And comrades, when it comes to persons with disabilities, I grew up in a home with my parents who served the community of persons with disabilities. My father came to Jamaica in 1953 as the first orthopedic surgeon in Jamaica, the first bone specialist. After he arrived some time after, there was a Kendall train crash. He was put in charge of the medical response, worst train accident in the history of Jamaica. Then there was a polio epidemic. He was put in charge of that. Resources that the people have made available to government through tax, without siphoning off fundings for cronies and friend and company, like what has been going on. When you have a drill, a medical drill for surgery that Bustamante Hospital needs, its market price is between 3 and 4 million. Yet the government is buying that drill from a company which 80% of the shares are owned by a JLP MP, and paying over $30 million for that drill. That difference between the real value and what is being paid is money that could have bought the CAT scan. That is no, they don't have no CAT scan machine at Bustamante. If the child needs a diagnostic test using a CAT scan, they have to send the child to public. And it is corruption that is causing those things. That's why it's a serious business. And when you see them import 110 old bus over 10 years old, and we see how those buses are operating on the road. Every day we see videos of what is going on. And there's $1.4 billion we're told to buy those old buses. When we know that the value of those buses, and we've even seen some of the invoices, is not near that, not even that tenth of that price. We said that has to be investigated, and we will ensure it is investigated. There must be full transparency over that transaction, because we're not in a hanky-panky when it comes to the children of Jamaica. And I want to say, we are blood and fire comrades. We approach the politics with passion. We approach the politics with full commitment. But the word is love. We not deal with violence. We're not afraid of nobody, but we not deal with violence. That's why you can have a sea of thousands of comrades. And look at the sign right there on that pole, and we not trouble it. We not molest that. Because we say democracy reign. Everybody can express themselves, including by billboards. We need not violence or any intimidatory tactics. And I'm going to ask the Prime Minister and the others who follow him on the other side, stop saying things, inflammatory things which you know are not true. In Central Kingston, there have been a couple of incidents of shooting. The police have not said that any political motivation was involved. Our intelligence suggests strongly otherwise. Gang conflict in a community, which is a predominantly JLP area. The second one. And the first one had nothing to do with politics either. Yet, the Prime Minister or Tufton coming out and insinuating that it's political violence, as if they want to set up a pretext for some kind of reprisal against us. Leave those talk alone. That doesn't help Jamaica move forward. Let us have a peaceful election. Let the people's voice be heard loud and clear. And when the trumpets sound tomorrow, and we know the date, we are ready to take it to them. Our plans and our programs are going to uplift this country and take it to another level. And we have more to tell you. Just listen out for our manifesto. We want the voice of the people to be heard. We will respect the decision of the people. But in my heart, I know the people want change. The people are tired of this wicked and uncaring government. The people are tired of the stagnant economy with the Minister of Economic Growth not delivering any growth, being the Prime Minister himself who can't be certified. The people want change. And I'm on Marky G, Mark Jefferson Golin, and the team I have with me of some brilliant comrades. We are going to deliver that change. The people of Jamaica will make their choice. And I say to you tonight, when you make your choice, I want you to put the X squarely beside the head. If you're in East Portland, Isaac Buchanan, West Portland, Doreen Campbell, are you ready, Portland? Are you ready, Portland? Are you ready for the People's National Party? Are you ready for Iman Marky G as an ex-Prime Minister? Oh gosh, I hear you, I see you, you look beautiful. Comrades, one love. God bless you. Thank you for coming. The word is love. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people, I say.